So moving on, Sandeep, the next question is to you. Uh, so I know that you have done the ceremonial marriage, and you did it in India. That too, it happened in India. Did you need someone like a consultant, like these marriage bureaus? How was your journey? What was the difficulties you faced? And could you like give a little brief about how the whole experience was about this? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yes, I did have a Indian ceremony. I mean, just like everybody else, I'm sure even I did want a big fat Indian wedding, so that's what I went for. I did. I mean, this was much long. I mean, much before Section 377 was read down. So it was in 2016. I mean, so this month it's going to be 4 years for me for my wedding anniversary. And I think it was one of the best time of my life, just planning the whole wedding. So because I did have my friends and family support me, I did not have a consultant basically to help me with all those, say, uh, details that I needed. But I did reach out to my family and my friends who supported me with the whole idea about the marriage. And we legally got married. I mean, my husband Ruben is Portuguese, so we legally got married in Portugal because there it's legalized. The wedding, same-sex marriage is legalized, so we legally got married in Portugal. And then we had an Indian ceremony a month later in India, in Bangalore. So for me, one of the things I definitely did want is I did not want how do I say I mean, like the movie actually showed, I did not want a curfew wedding. I did not want a wedding that's within the four walls in a room or a house. So we actually hired bungalow. I mean, it's pretty well known in Coxtown. There is a bungalow 7, so we hired that. That's where I kind of went into having my venue for the wedding. So I had my best friend. He was the one who actually, I think, stood by us throughout the whole time of planning the whole wedding. It went on for a whole year, the whole wedding, in terms of getting the cards printed. So we had to look for somebody who would print a wedding card that had both male names. We went and got the wedding card designed. We went out, got our wedding dress designed by designers. Even in, so the one thing I did realize was I needed support in terms of organizing the wedding, like whole like a wedding plan. So I went with Pratav wedding planners. So they are friends right now, Surabhi and Vivek. So they're fantastic people. So all I did was I did see on the website that they were open to do even same-sex wedding. So that's something I saw on the website, and I just picked up the phone and I said, I am going to get married and it's a same-sex wedding. Would you guys be interested in doing? And that was the first same-sex marriage they were going to do, and they were happy to do it. And we met them up, and uh, I think it was uh, it was very simple. I just told them how I wanted the wedding, and they started planning it around that. Be it like they gave me suggestions on how we could keep it both cultures mixed. I mean, mine Indian and Ruben's Portugal uh, heritage or cultures mixed. But I said I want a full-on Indian wedding because I already had a Western style wedding. So I think the Indian style wedding was fantastic because I had my friends who actually did the whole barat. It was within the four walls, but we had the whole barat come up, and then I had my sisters actually welcome me into a mantap. I had the mantap set, and one of the best things I think that happened during the wedding was we wanted to be officiated by a priest, by Hindu priest, because I'm Hindu. But we did not find somebody who could do that. But luckily, a day before the wedding, we found a priest who said he's okay to do it. And we did say it was like same-sex wedding, and he was okay. He said it is it's about love, about two people, and he's not looking at the gender. So I did actually have a priest come and officiate the whole wedding. He did it without any qualms about whether it's a guy or a girl. He did it like he would do any other wedding, with the whole mantras and that and this, and the whole ceremonial thing. All of that was done. And during the whole kanyadan aspect, he said, so who are you going to call to do the kanyadan? So my sister was there, and she says, not kanyadan, it's vardhan, because both are var. So he said, yeah, yeah. And he had no problem. He actually corrected himself, and he said, yes, yes, for vardhan. And we did that ceremony as well. I mean, everything was, I would say, everything went the way I wanted it. And we had, like, whole the dancing aspect. I had my friends and my family. I mean, my friends flew down from different parts of the world, so they were there. My family, and I think one of the things that my friends who came from other part of the world, they said was they didn't know that Indian weddings were so, what do you say, fabulous. It was a complete Bollywood style. But I think that is something that they kind of liked, because I didn't keep it within four walls, hidden, and they're saying that this is, I mean, limited. I went all out. I mean, I had the whole ceremony where you go dig for that rings in that thing of milk, and games and all out. I mean, I do have a wedding video and a brief summary of it on YouTube. I can share it with all of you if you would like to see. So I think what I want to say is, like, if you want a wedding, if you want a big fat Indian wedding, just go for it, because it's just something that you would probably do once in a lifetime. It's not like you can, you know. But yes, the most important thing out of all of this is you need to know that you're doing it with the right person, because wedding just happens just once. It's just one day. It's a celebration of your love, celebration that you would want to do with your family and friends. But after that, life starts. Because for me, I still remember after the wedding happened, my friends and all of us were sitting, and it was like, so now what? Because the whole year we just spent every other day planning, okay, we'll do this for the wedding, do that for the wedding. We could plan that, we could do this, the designing, the talking to people. I need this flowers, I need this theme, I need that colors. It went on for a year, and after the wedding, it's like, so now what? Because that's over, and now life starts, right? So I think it's a good way to, I would say, remember your love, because like Spurti said, and Sindur said, it's not about a marriage. Marriage is neither. It does not have to be legalized, because at the end of the day, it's just a document to prove your relationship if somebody asks. And I think that's only the reason why I actually got married, because I needed a document to prove my relationship with Ruben, and that was necessary for the reason being, what do you say? Reason being, because he's from Portugal and I'm in India, we thought it would help with the visa, which unfortunately didn't not, because like Sindhu said, same-sex marriage is not recognized in India. So Ruben had a lot of difficulty staying in India with me, because even though we were married, um, we were in India for close to 3 years after the wedding, but uh, he had difficulties staying here because he could not get a visa based on the facts saying that he is my spouse or he's married to me. So those were the difficulties we had. But when right now we have moved to Canada, we migrated here with a permanent resident visa. But that helped because when we were applying for PR in Canada, because marriages are legalized here, our wedding certificate kind of did help us get our relationship status legalized or recognized in this country. So based on that, we could actually prove that we're married. And I think one other thing that definitely helped with my marriage is my family took me seriously, because until then, I think just like anybody else, every family parent would assume that, oh, this is just a phase, and probably they will what do you say, get out of it, and they probably is just a one time thing, and he'll just have one more boyfriend, later they'll break up. Because I still remember when I was going to get married, my sister, my friends, they were coming to Portugal for my Portugal wedding when we're getting legalized. My parents didn't come for both the weddings for obvious reasons, not because they didn't want to, but it's because what will the society say and what will the society think. But when my sister told my dad that they are going for the wedding, for the Portugal one, because they're traveling to a different country for my wedding, my dad asked my sister, so what is the guarantee that this marriage is going to last? So what's something that my brother-in-law asked was, what is the guarantee that heterosexual marriage is going to last? You do get somebody married, like with the whole arranged marriage and all those things. Look at the kundli and all of those things you do, that family kind of gets people together. So what is the guarantee that marriage will last? So my dad said, there's no guarantee. I said, exactly. So why do you want a guarantee only when it comes to same-sex wedding? So there's no,
Yeah.
there is, I would say, there is no reason for, or I don't think anybody has to give any kind of validation why you need to get married. It is just whether you want it or you don't want it. And I even I mean, though I did get married, I'm not somebody who is saying that this is the right way. It is just basically whatever keeps you happy. I mean, whatever makes you wake up thinking, okay, I have a fabulous life, just do that. It's the end of the day, it's just that. Because
Yeah.
I personally believe that everybody has a love story with the right person, obviously. But and just
Yeah.
like Sindur said, I mean, I'm sure for her, her love story is the best. I mean, like she has, I mean, fabulous people. They have gone through so much obstacles, and here they are. I mean, sharing their journey to inspire people. And I think that is something that all of us can do. What we lacked was examples. What we lacked was stories that we could share, saying this is something that has happened, so it could happen to me as well. So even there have been friends of mine who have reached out to me later on, saying that when I did share my story, saying, thanks for sharing your story, because that kind of gave me a hope that it could happen to me as well. And yes, I mean, one of the reasons why, we were in India when Section 377 was read down. And one of my friends did ask, so now do you want to leave India? Do you want to go to Canada? Uh, because now Section 377 is read down. It's okay to be gay in India. I don't think I had a problem being gay in India, or even acknowledgement of my relationship, because I've always said everybody that Ruben is my husband. I use the word husband, and I did have a lot of people from the community and out of the community ask me, "So are you the wife?" I said, "No, we are two men, and it's just two husbands in the family in the marriage, and there's no wife." So I
Yeah.
think those are things that we should actually treat normally. I would say normalize the whole terms, because I don't want to actually bring out saying, okay, I mean, you could be gender neutral. I mean, at the end of the day, you can say spouse and partner, but if you prefer calling your partner husband or wife, it's your choice. And yes, so the reason why we moved to Canada was adoption, because we wanted to start a family. That's something we both had decided. So those are the things I think that would make a marriage, to know that both of your goals are the same. That is what would make a marriage, or a wedding for a matter. To know that, okay, this is what I want out of life. So both of us wanted to get start a family. So that's the reason we moved to Canada. So we have started our adoption process here in Canada this year. We have made an application to the government here legally. And so one of the things that we specify, that again, like I said, like a family, like a couple, what we decided was, when we are adopting, we are now going to keep any kind of a discrimination of ours. So they do ask you questions like, what is the gender of the baby that you want? What is the age of the baby that you want? And stuff like that. So we said no preference, and I specifically called out saying, if you do have babies who are intersex, we're open to adopt them. If you do know that there are kids who do identify as LGBT, we're open to adopting them. And we said that we're open to adopt even kids who probably have special needs. Because if we don't stand as a community, if we don't stand against discrimination, I don't know who else, because we have gone through that all of our life. So why do we need to start
Yeah.
discriminating that way? So yes, so that's one thing. And the other thing I would say is, I would say I wouldn't say that you need a consultant, but you definitely need support, and that in any form that you get is
True.
good. I mean, people who understand uh, how you look at life, or people who know that this is what you want out of life. I think all of that is fantastic. So having that kind of people definitely help. For me,
Right.
I would say Vivek and Surbi, who are my wedding planners, but now are friends. I mean, they kind of were people who stood out for me, because they were not my consultants. When I first met them, they were my wedding planners. But by the time my wedding was done, they actually took part in my wedding as my friends. They were actually my friends at my wedding, who just helped me out. And I think that is what
Yeah.
you properly need. Even if somebody is running a consultancy, I think that's what you need to understand, that you probably would get a client walking in the door, but when the person walks out, that person needs to walk out as a friend. Only then will that help, or only when will that thing
Yeah.
uh, may matter. Yeah.
True.
So yes.
But I
Sandeep, you
heard there
rightly
was
said
police
that.
who walked in. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
Come on.
police did not walk in, but what happened was, because it was before Section 377, we had a big mic, and like you see, I talk a lot. So I was going all out and screaming about wedding, and we said same sex and that and this. So there was this older gentleman who was on the next building. It was very, how Bangalore is very close knit door. So there was this older gentleman on the other building. From his balcony, he saw the whole wedding ceremony and saw me and Ruben standing there and talking. And I'm assuming that he would have complained to the police. I'm not sure, but I mean, if he's on the call today, just to let you know that we had finished the summary before you called the police. but But what I'm saying is, it was just okay. I mean, we were not, even for me. I mean, honestly, I was not fearing for anything. I mean, even the police comes, I knew my rights. I knew that the police could not arrest me on just on the basis of having a, say, a wedding, because I know just because I identify as a gay person does not make me a criminal. I mean, they had to prove that I'm having
Yeah.
unnatural sex, and which obviously I'm not having in front of so many people. So they cannot take me to court just for having a ceremony. That could be
Yeah.
any ceremony. So I knew all my, um, say, rights in terms of that. But I was not fair. But the only thing is, I did not want to cause
Great.
issues for my guests. So that's why we kind of told them that there was this call, because I did get a call from the venue owner saying that they actually got a notification, or they got a call from the neighbor saying that what's happening and stuff like that. So they said, this is what I said. No, we were anyways winding up in half an hour. So instead of dragging the wedding for people just staying around and sharing time, we just kind of thought that why don't we just move it to a different venue altogether. So we just moved from there to our
Okay.
homes and stuff, and we're just hanging out there. But yeah, I think the wedding definitely went well. That was the only
Okay.
hiccup, but I think that was fine. I mean, every wedding needs a little hiccup. That's what makes it memorable.
Great.